Let's try this again. So sorry. I don't know. I keep getting internet issues. So we'll pick it up from Alabama. Well, let's see something here. Bucknell in the Air Force. There you go. Go Air Force. Marshall, Georgia. Georgia 39.5, 55. I don't even have to look. I'm just trying to figure out where to start from. Stocker is the new quarterback. The defense is loaded. Great. All right, so let's go to who's after Georgia. All right, let's go to Temple and UMass. Sorry if I'm repeating, but I don't know where I ended, and it was just I keep getting internet issues, so I don't know what to do with that. I was getting them up north too, so I don't know if it's my computer or what. Maybe. So anyway, Temple, UMass. Apologize, but we'll go through it again. Temple 2.5, 47.5, real quick. They were both Z teams last year, both with 35 defenses. Returning quarterback and the new coach from Sam Houston at Temple, UMass, a new quarterback and a new coach. So what we have here is how quickly will Sam Houston's coach be able to implement and make Temple like Sam Houston, who was pretty good last year. Alabama, Florida State, Alabama 13.5 and 50.5. Alabama was an 18, 17 defense, so that shouldn't change. A new quarterback is their second stringer behind Milrose. And now what you take out of this is the Ohio State quarterback was behind this guy. So Ohio State's getting the third stringer of Alabama last year. So keep that in mind. That's why we like the free pick of Ohio State, Texas under. So he's not played a lot. Florida State gets Castellanos from Boston College, who's okay, average. Both coaches are back. Florida State with the 28 defense. I expect it to be better. Sometimes the defense is bad because the quarterback's throwing pick sixes, so it's not really the defense giving up the points. Alabama with the 17. This could be a defensive struggle with the new quarterbacks. Maybe it's a little closer. I think Alabama wins, but I don't think it'll be a 30-point win. It'll be close. All right, let's go to 6 o'clock, Coastal Carolina and Virginia. Coastal Carolina was an over team and a 30 defense. Virginia was a W with the 29. Virginia's added the quarterback from North Texas. Odd place for him to end up is at Virginia. Both coaches are back. New quarterback for Coastal Carolina. So I expect Virginia to be an over. The line's 11.5, 58.5. We'll see. We don't know how strong Coastal Carolina. Their defense sucks, but we don't know how strong Virginia is. My guess is Virginia should get the win here, and with the new quarterback, should get some points against Coastal Carolina's 30 defense. Let's see. UTSA, Texas A&M. Be careful. A&M 24.5, 56.5. Again, UTSA is one of these solid teams, but moving up in class. And A&M, you don't know. Reed, the quarterback's more of a runner than a thrower. Not really sure. They're a B team, 21 defense. It's how will UTSA be able to score on this tough defense of A&M moving up in class? That's always the problem. The offensive line's not big enough to stop the defensive line. So be careful there. We want UTSA in conference, not against an A&M. Be careful with those type of bets. Missouri, USC, 7:30 at night. SC 35.5, 59.5. Both coaches and quarterbacks are back. I have on USC. I think I added this game because I thought Missouri State was a Division two. USC is probably an over team. They could score weak defense. Although we did like the quarterback Maivia at the end of the year, he was playing much better. We have nothing on Missouri State. They're a Division two team. Well, let's take a look. I think what we can find out on Missouri State, and I think they're in the Sun Belt, is how against the Division two were they explosive. I think they're Conference USA. Yeah, here they are. Oh, no, they're in the MAC, I think. Or maybe they're not. Where the hell are they? Delaware is in the MAC. Oh, here it is. All right, Missouri State Bears. Jacob Clark, the quarterback, is a senior. Playing Division two. They did score a lot. Indiana State 46, 49, 38, 59, 21. They lost to South Dakota State in the playoffs 45-9, which worries me. Otherwise, they scored 30 and 40 points in all the other games. Who you have no idea. Linwood, UT Martin, Youngstown State, Joe Montana, Ball State. So the Ball State 34-40. You have no idea with Missouri State. I think USC is gonna crush them because they're on the hot seat. Lincoln Riley. We will see. It's all 35.5, 59.5. We don't know what Missouri State is, so we can't. Again, against Division two doesn't help you. I got a feeling USC is going to light them up in the first half and just cruise in. New Mexico, Michigan, a night game, 34.5, 49.5, down from 36.5. The Sharps betting on New Mexico, and a 49.5 total. New Mexico is an over team, but they don't have their coach, and the quarterback Dampier went to Utah, so they had a 38 defense. Michigan was an under team with a 20. They had no quarterback, yet still beat Ohio State. And so they get a new quarterback underwear and the same coach. We have no idea. He's a freshman. He's played high school. This is not high school. I would think Michigan I think this game probably stays low because Michigan's run and play defense and make sure they win the game. And New Mexico can't do anything with the new quarterback and the new coach. I don't see a lot happening there. LSU Clemson game, the second game of the day. Clemson 3.5, 57.5. Not much to see here. We got LSU, who was an E team with the 24 defense. Neusmeyer's back. Brian Kelly's back. Clemson an A team with the 22 defense. Returning quarterback and coach. The difference is when Clemson played Georgia, they lost 30-3. So what you have is an ACC team that's good against the SEC team who looks like an E. When if Clemson had to play SEC, they wouldn't win half their games. So a 22 defense, 24, both quarterbacks back, and a 57.5 total, and Clemson 3.5. So LSU could be a live dog. This isn't Clemson. You got two good quarterbacks, so this should be a very good game. Should be a tight game, I would think. UTEP, Utah State. Utah State is up to 6. It was 3.5, is now up to 6. And 60, this is 60.5. Okay. UTEP is a Z team, a 32 defense, returning quarterback, and a new coach. Utah State, an over team with a 38 defense, a new quarterback, and a returning coach. I think the quarterback's decent. Let me see who Utah State's. think I was studying my teams in my Excel sheet. Yeah, Utah State, I was actually just on. They got Brian Barnes from Utah, and they got Mendenhall, the old BYU coach, and then he went to Virginia. Okay, so that's why I circled him. So yeah, you're getting Mendenhall and Barnes is a good quarterback. Well, he was at Utah. He did okay. I think he'll do good here. Barnes, Utah. Okay. Well, it's in my spreadsheet. So yeah, that's Utah State should have an edge there. Georgia State, Ole Miss, we don't know. Ole Miss 35 and a half, 16 and a half. Down from 38 and a half. Wow. Who the hell's betting Georgia State? And 60 and a half, down from 62 and a half. Wow. Is there an injury in that game? Georgia State, a W team with a 33 defense. Quarterback and coach are back. Ole Miss was an A team with a 14 defense. New quarterback as Dart went on, and as the coach is there, Lane Kiffin. So you should get offense from Ole Miss with Lane Kiffin. Will the defense be as strong? They got some good defense. That we don't know because he's normally an offensive guy. Georgia State with a 33 defense. So normally Ole Miss would blow them out, but how good's Ole Miss's quarterback? I don't know. And Georgia State, we assume they're still pretty bad, but you're laying 35 points here. So again, first we learn, then we bet. Rice against my Lou Lafayette. Where's that? Lou Lafayette is down to 11 and a half. This was 14. Jesus. Easy, people. And a total drop from 49 to 47 and a half. Again, we'll check injuries. I'll have to do that later and then report back. We'll look at them Thursday morning for Thursday. Lou Lafayette, normally a good team, an A team, 23 defense, new quarterback, and coaches back. Rice was an under team with a 25 defense and a new quarterback and a new coach. Rice is Houston, right? So that's the rivalry, Rice and Houston. Lou Lafayette's really good. But again, you got the new quarterback, and Rice, you got the new quarterback. So what do you do with it? And that's the problem. Even if they're transfers, you don't know if they're going to fit into the offense. That's the key to it. Will the quarterback fit into the offense? Because there's many different types of offenses. And you're seeing that in the NFL with Hooker and the Lions. The Lions don't know what to do with Hooker. They're running the wrong offense. Why they drafted Hooker, assuming he can just pick up this new offense? No, you draft somebody who's used to your offense. If anybody even runs your offense is a bunch of misdirection. You run, and then you fake the run and roll back and throw, and then you do all these reverses. And the Lions offense is really gimmicky. It's not a really good one, and it's not anything anybody knows but Jared Goff because he stole it from Sean McVay. Well, that's what they did with their running back. Todd Gurley. It was hand the ball to Todd, and then okay, I'll play action off of it, and that's all Goff did. That's all Goff can do. He can't stand in the pocket. Yeah, these people that are sold on Goff, you just look at the big games. Choked against Washington, choked against Buffalo, choked against Houston. Somehow they won because C.J. Stroud threw the balloon in the end zone. The guy intercepted, came 10 yards over. If he just throws it on a line, it's a touchdown. That ended the game. But no, he gave the Lions life, and the Lions ended up winning with the 5 turnovers. Golf against fast and good defenses, Kansas City, Philadelphia, apparently Washington, Minnesota, he's going to struggle with. So that's the problem with Goff, and everybody just sees them against Jacksonville going, oh, look how good he is. They beat Jacksonville. Eastern Michigan, Texas State. Texas State is now 13 and a half and 58. So that really hasn't changed. Eastern's an over team with the 28 defense, new quarterback, same coach. Texas State is an A team, 24 defense, a new quarterback, and the same coach. Their coach is a very good offensive coach, and the quarterback last year was very, I'm surprised he didn't get drafted, was a very good quarterback. So you think the quarterback's coming in is also going to be explosive because it's the coach, just like Josh Heupel at Tennessee. You think, well, Joey Egeler is going to do great because we got the quarterback, but we have the coach in there. So that's what we have. So Texas State explosive, Eastern explosive. We should probably get an explosive game, but we don't know EMU's quarterback. Is he going to be good or not? We need more research. Georgia Southern, Fresno State. They listened to me, and Georgia Southern's now a 1.5 favorite. I said after watching Fresno State how they could be favored, 51.5. So Fresno State's got a lot of problems. Georgia Southern, a very good team, an over team, 27 defense. Fresno State, a 25 defense. Both Georgia Southern quarterback and the coach are back. Fresno State, new coach, new quarterback. And it showed. They struggled mightily, but Kansas has a good team. Is Georgia Southern is good? I mean, I like Georgia Southern as the dog. Now that they're a favorite, we'll see. It's hard to watch the Kansas game. Fresno State gave you nothing. And this is, I think, Kurt Warner's kid. Didn't look like anything. So that's the tough part. So we have to see. Cal against Oregon State. Oregon State has Malik Murphy. He was at Texas, then he went to Duke, and now he's at Oregon State. Very good quarterback. Much better than Arch Manning. We've got Oregon State 1.5 was 2.5, and total 50.5 was 52. Both have new quarterbacks, but again, Malik Murphy is very good, and both coaches are back. Cal with a 22 defense, they're an E team, and so is Oregon State an E. Well, they couldn't have been an E team with a 30 defense, but that's what I have right now. It doesn't matter. We'll fix it as we start getting stats that we can adjust to. Oregon State tough at home. Yeah, Malik Murphy, he'll be the difference in the game. And 1.5. Yeah. All right. Hawaii, Arizona. Arizona 17.5, 52.5. Wow, this was 13.5, now 17.5. And 55 went down to 52.5. Hawaii, well, the adjustments because of watching Hawaii against Stanford. Hawaii did win at the end, 23-20. Arizona, a W team with a 32 defense against Noah Fajida's back, and the coach is back. But they lost their coach to Washington, so this is the new coach. And again, it gets fucked up when you change coaches. Hawaii, an under team, 26 defense. Well, they played 23-20. About right. Stanford's kind of weak. The quarterback looked okay, but he hurt I think he got a high ankle sprain in the game. So be careful with Hawaii. That's probably why the total went down to 52.5. And both coaches are back. Yeah, so Hawaii is really hurting with the quarterback might even be out. How good's their backup quarterback? How good's their starting quarterback, right? Arizona, how good are they? Fajida's good, but this coach fucked them up last year, so I'm not sure. We'll catch an eye. Colorado State, Washington, interesting game here. Washington 21.5. This is up from 19. I think this is up from 17. And 53.5, up from 52. Washington was an under team last year, 23 defense. The quarterback played like the last game or so last year. knows the system. Supposed to be a real good one. He can run and pass, but really good. Returning coach, Colorado State, an E team, a 24 defense, returning quarterback and coach. They were decent last year, nothing special. Washington at home, they're pissed. They got a really good team. They're working on their defense and they're working on the offense. So look for Washington to be a very strong Big Ten team. Colorado State, we have no idea. They could be better than we think or not. Utah, UCLA. Utah is 6-51.5. Okay, we got Utah's always an under team, always a strong defense, a 20 defense. But they add Devin Damper, who was very good at New Mexico, and New Mexico was a over team last year. So they're going to get points from Dampier, same coach. UCLA is terrible, a W with the 25, new quarterback, and the same coach. The quarterback is the volleyball player from Tennessee, Iglia Buglia Jr. So we'll see what he looks like. Total 51. Utah, more of a defensive team. Usually UCLA, we have no idea. I don't know how good this Nico guy is. If he was any good, he did nothing at Tennessee. So we will see. VTech, South Carolina, 7.5, 52.5. Wow, this jumped from 48 to 52.5. And 7.5 went down from 8.5. VTech, a B team, 23 defense, new, same coach, same quarterback. South Carolina, an A team with an 18 defense. Lenoris, the quarterback's very good, and the same coach. They've been playing better, South Carolina. I mean, they got up to an A team. That's how you judge them when they're, there's Z teams and W teams. These teams suck, but then all of a sudden they go up to a B team and then an A. Like Southern Miss, I'm expecting them to be a B team because that's what Marshall was at the end of the year. We'll have the growing pains. But that's what you're seeing here with South Carolina, that are getting better and better. They're at home. Lane 7.5, 52, 18 defense, probably similar against VTech. So we'll have to look. Drones is the quarterback for VTech. Notre Dame, Miami. Notre Dame picks up. CJ Carr is a freshman. He's supposed to be good, but he's a freshman against Miami. Notre Dame 2.5, 49.5. Notre Dame, an A team, a playoff team, a 14 defense. That's what I mean by strong defense. New quarterback Carr, same coach, very good coach. Miami, an over team, 24 defense, a new quarterback, and Carson Beck from Georgia, and the same coach who sucks. Normally, defense wins these type of games, and I wouldn't be surprised. Let's see where this game's at. Hard Rock Stadium. That is in Florida, so it's a home game for Miami. In here, they do give like game details, so if you don't know where it's at, they'll tell you. So it's at Miami. Notre Dame 2.5. Defense usually wins over offense. They get the great running back. Carr's probably just going to hand off maybe some screens and short ones. They're not going to want to give him to turn it over, so they're not going to have him long passes. At Miami is not how you start a freshman. Miami, Carson Beck's okay, but Notre Dame's defense is tough, and look for Notre Dame to run it down their throat. So this should be a good game. And TCU, North Carolina, we got TCU 3.5, 56.5. TCU an over team. North Carolina, I don't know. They got a new quarterback. They obviously have Belichick, so they got a new coach, new quarterback. TCU returning quarterback Hoover is very good, and their coach I love. So, what do we do with this game? We don't know. I assume North Carolina will switch to a defensive team because Matt, whatever his name was, Mac Brown was an offensive coach. So now you're getting a defensive coach. Look for Carolina to have a good New England system in there, or the New York Giants if they get Lawrence Taylor. That's probably why he's at North Carolina, is for Lawrence Taylor. And then TCU, I don't think they're going to stop TCU. I don't think they have the players right away to stop a TCU offense. Interesting. I would love TCU to be dog, would be the perfect, but they're not. And then 56.5, I don't know what I'm getting in North Carolina's offense. It's a watch and learn. There is... Let's see. There's one thing I wanted. There was a Notre Dame quarterback and Delhi on one team. I got to figure out which team it is. So let's see. Eastern Michigan starting Kim from Michigan State, who sucks. Bowling Green, Drew Pine from Notre Dame. Western Michigan, Lowry from Indiana. Buffalo has Robertson from Kansas State. UMass is starting Jordan from Yale. Oh, my God. Again, Utah State starts Barnes from Utah. Vegas has Orgy. He stinks. They had another guy in there. New Mexico, Lane from Idaho. Let's see if we can find the Notre Dame. North Texas is going with Poffenberger from Miami. East Carolina, I got weak quarterbacks. Hauser was 18-11 last year. South Florida, Brian Brom, 2-0, so he didn't play much, a little bit more of a runner. Here we go. Syracuse is starting, and Jelly, the Notre Dame backup. Let me mark that down. So the guy backed up. Riley Leonard. So he wasn't good enough to beat Riley Leonard. He's now at Syracuse. I don't know if he's the starter or not. That's what they're penciling in on Gray Sports Almanac. Possibly. And we know Tennessee goes to Joey Roulard. So that's important. So I have all the quarterbacks who played last year who have switched teams. When I do a Yahoo poll, it automatically pulls their new team in, and then I just line it up. So we're all set there. And that's what I've been studying to try to find. Now, LSU, Clemson, we know the quarterbacks. Nothing surprising. Notre Dame, Miami, Carr, we know he's highly recruited. Miami gets Carson. Oh, well, we know that. It's Nebraska, Cincy. It's the Boise, South Florida. Well, we know that. Buffalo, Minnesota. Who's the Buffalo quarterback? So that's kind of what I'm doing. And I can grade the quarterback if they're any good or they're crap. So I'm doing that. Anyway, that is college football. The free pick, Ohio State, Texas under. I've got about 5 or 6 picks that I've been working on as I go through the new lines, giving me a little bit different. And that's it. So it starts Thursday. Shitload of games Thursday and Friday and Saturday. So we start 5:30 Boise, South Florida, and then we get to Ohio, Rutgers, Jacksonville State, UCF at 7, Wyoming, Akron at 7, East Car, NC State at 7, Buffalo, Minnesota at 8, Nebraska, Cincinnati at 9. I don't know why Cincinnati's at 9 o'clock. Oh, it's ESPN. The Big Ten Network, Miami at Wisconsin at 9. And that's Thursday. Now let's go to baseball. I'm not going to waste a lot of time with it. How did we do yesterday? We had Toronto under 7, and Toronto wins 10-4. That's a loser. Matt Scherzer did good. Joe Ryan's been falling apart, so keep your eye on Joe Ryan. He's not as good. Philly under 7. Sanchez gives up 13 runs to the Mets, 13-3. Milwaukee, they win 7-5. We have Texas. Texas loses 4-0 to California. Jacob deGrom gives up 4 runs. We have Detroit. Detroit loses 8-3. Tarek Skubal lost 8-3 to Oakland. Wow. Cincinnati on their streak loses 7-0. Hunter Green. Wow. And then Tampa Bay was further up. I think they won. Tampa won 9-0. So we lose Toronto under and Philly under. We hit Milwaukee. We lose Texas, Detroit, and Cincy, and we hit Tampa. So we go a whopping 2-2, 2-2, 2-4, 2-5 yesterday. We lost with DeGrom. We lost with Skubal. What are you supposed to do? You have a theory and you stick with it. That's all you can do. All right, let's look at today. 6:35 is the first game. We got Boston and Baltimore. Baltimore with a new pitcher, Kyle Bradis, 0-0 with a 0-0-0. Forget it. Amazing, you're bringing in a new player at the start of September. Atlanta, Miami. Atlanta 125-8. Hurston Waldrip 4-0 with a .73. Sandy Alcantara. We're going to go with Atlanta. And we're going to keep with our theory. Atlanta. The one thing I warned you about with Detroit was, did Skubal fly out Saturday night to go to the West Coast for Oakland's Monday night game? And I bet he didn't. I bet he flew out with the team and he was tired. And that's what you get when you fly to the West Coast. Detroit always does bad at Oakland and at California and at Seattle. They just don't travel to the West Coast properly. Tampa Bay, Cleveland. Tampa won 9-0, 125-8. Shane Baez 8-10 with the 5.22. Parker Meswick 0-1 with the 1.35. I'm not touching. Washington at the Yankees. Mackenzie Gore 5-12 with the 4.11. Lewis Gill 1-1 with the 4.26. Yankees are starting to hit the ball. Let's go Yankees over 9. 2 units. What the fuck? Minnesota, Toronto. Toronto 175, 8.5. Bailey over 4-7, 5.05. Chris Bassett 11-7 with the 4.18. No, thank you. Probably an over game. Philly and the Yankees, I have no idea. Jesus Luzardo 12-6 with the 4.10 for Philly. Sean Mannion 1-2 with the 5.15 for the Mets. Philly 115, 8.5. I'm going over. Philly over. I mean, they always go over, right? Except for tonight, they'll win 1-0 or something. Arizona, Milwaukee. Milwaukee's heating up. Brandon Pfaadt, who stinks, 12-8 with the 4.95. Jacob Mizorowski, 4-2 with the 4.19. I can't bet 4.5 ERA pitchers. KC and the White Sox. KC 128.5. Michael Lorenzen 5-8 with the 4.50. Martin Perez 1-3 with the 2.51. No, thank you. Pitt, St. Louis. Well, we already saw Scanes the other day, so we won't see him the rest of the week. St. Louis 125.8. Mitch Keller 5-12 with a 4.34. Andre Palante 6-11, 5.17. No, thank you. California Teller. Look at all the shitty pitchers we have to look at. I mean, what the fuck are they doing in the league? UC Kikuchi, 6-8 with the 3.42. Patrick Corbin, 6-9 with the 4.61. No, thank you. Colorado, Houston. Houston, 3.25-8. Colorado is on a big losing streak, I think. Did we have? I don't think they played yesterday, right? Tanner Gordon, 4-5 with the 7.11 ERA, and Hunter Brown, 10-5. So we're going to take Houston. We're going to go 5 units, and I know it's 325, but I don't care. San Diego, Seattle. San Diego, 105-8. Dylan Cease, who's been pitching well, 6-11, 4.71. Luis Castillo, 8-7, 3.57. I got to leave this game alone. I like Dylan Cease, but not in this situation. The Cubbies at the 49ers. The Cubs, 147.5. Matthew Boyd's been pitching well, 12-6, 2.61. Against his old teammate Justin Verlander, 1-10 with the 4. We're going Cubs. Really, we're going against Verlander here. He's so bad. 1-10 with the, I don't know what he's doing out there. Detroit, Oakland. Why is Detroit favored? You just lost with Skubal, so understand psychology. Oakland beat Skubal. They're going to beat everybody. Charlie Morton, who's terrible, 9-10, 5.09. Oswald Cobblepot, 2-4, 5.37. Total of 11. I'm going to take Oakland just because they beat Skubal. And they beat them bad. It was 8-3. Cincinnati and the Dodgers. The Dodgers 190-9. Nick Martinez 10-9, 4.59. Clayton Kershaw. He's been pitching good lately. We'll go with the Dodgers, 2 units. So let's look at this Tiger game yesterday, since we're from Detroit. Now, was it one of these games? There's a shutout, and he brings in the bullpen, and then they give up 8 runs? Let's see. Well, I'm not far off. It was 3-0 Detroit in the 6th, and then Oakland scores a run to make it 3-1. What do you think happened? They pulled Skubal. They give up 5 runs in the 7th, 2 in the 8th, and lose 8-3. Skubal gets the – let's see how long Skubal played. Skubal pitched 6 2/3. Oh, well, he had to come out because there was 98 pitches. And he gave up 6 runs, so that's why. 12 strikeouts, he gave up 2 home runs, but he gave up 6 runs. So Hanfree came out and just gave up 6 2. They're missing an inning. 6 2 2/3 is 7 1/3. So somebody came out for another 2/3. But here you go, Skubal. Couldn't make it through 7 innings, but he gave up 6 runs, so that's why. So when you look at the stats, so yeah, Skubal gave up all 6 of the runs. So he gave up the 5 runs in the 7th. So the manager did not send the monkey out to pull him out, but he did pull him out after 98 pitches. So again, so you can't blame the manager for pulling Skubal after 6 and losing the game. You maybe can say he left him out too long for the 5 runs in the 7th. Maybe after 2 runs you pull him, but yes, he's your best pitcher. So who are you going to go to? All right, so that's baseball today. We're going Atlanta 2 runs, 2 units. The Yankees over 9, 2 units. Philly over 8.5, 2 units. Houston 5 units. The Cubs 2 units. Oakland 2, and the Dodgers with Kershaw 2. Let's look at streaks. 6-game losing streak for Cleveland. That must have been the lone Tampa winner. And then we get to the National League, a bunch of 1s. 4-game losing streak for Colorado, which we did play Oakland, or who did we play? Houston, I think. Who's playing? Yeah, I think Houston's got Colorado. Yeah, okay. So that's the only 4 streak. That's about it. Okay, let's go. I wanted to quickly cover Our friends in Burkina Faso, what's going on with this? This is one day ago. So they're the ones that the US tried to steal their gold and make them pay or give us your gold, and they told them to fuck off. So what did the US start? Let's take a look.
And it touched down Ouagadougou, a capital once whispered only in quiet corners of diplomacy. A sky once filled with birdsong now echoes with the roar of jet engines. But these are not the plains of warlords or colonizers. They are not here for gold, oil, or rare earths. They are here for something far more dangerous to the world order. A single man. From the east, massive Saudi C-130s descend. From the north, Pakistani troops in desert armor. From Cairo, from Abuja, from Islamabad, 42 countries, bound under one mission, have landed not in fear, but in solidarity. This is the first time in history the Islamic Military Counterterrorism Coalition (IMCTC) has ever deployed outside the Middle East. And they chose Burkina Faso, not Syria, not Yemen, not Libya, but the small, landlocked nation at the burning heart of the Sahel. And for what? Not to protect a regime, not to rescue hostages, but to defend Captain Ibrahim Traore, the revolutionary under 40 who dared to speak a truth no one wanted to hear. Africa will no longer be ruled by invisible hands. He severed ties with Paris. He silenced Washington's threats. He stared down the European Union sanctions. And he lived. So now the world asks, what power does this man hold that would compel 42 flags to fly under his? Why would Saudi Arabia, a kingdom built on oil, diplomacy, and conservative silence, suddenly become the spearhead of a Sahelian alliance? What could possibly make Ouagadougou more important than Riyadh, more urgent than Gaza? This is not just geopolitics. This is a cosmic shift. A fire has touched the dry grass of empire and it's spreading. If you think this is only about terrorism, think again. The IMCTC's boots may touch Sahelian soil, but the real battlefield lies elsewhere, in the struggle between old power and a rising Africa. So now, ask yourself, the dam has cracked. Who will be swept away first? If you believe that what just happened in Burkina Faso will reshape the future of an entire continent, hit that like button, subscribe, and stay with us.
So you got 42 countries joining in, flying their fighters in, including Saudi Arabia and Egypt. And they're like, they're with the US, they're with Brics, they're both with Brics. I wouldn't be surprised if Russia's joining them and telling the US to fuck off, like we're trying to steal their gold. This is how you know we're bankrupt, right? You got to pay back the IMF or give us your gold. Well, if you're not bankrupt, you're not making that statement. And as I said earlier, talking to the real estate guy, you've got a $37 trillion debt. Why do you ignore it? You've got a budget that isn't balanced. You have deficits. You have nobody wanting the treasury bills. Wake up and smell the roses. This is just what you see. There's nothing like a secret that I'm telling. It's basically 37 trillion in debt and everything else, and that's what it is. And so that's because you're going broke. You go broke when you owe more than you have, and that's what they have. And then we don't have assets because we don't have gold. If we did pull it out, I told the guy, very interesting. I said, well, if the dollar wasn't worthless, why don't they just print $37 trillion and pay off the debt? And they can't, because the dollar, that would break the dollar, right? You can't do that. The dollar has no value. That's what they did in Germany in 1923. They had the Reichsmark, and then they went to the Deutschmark. And the Reichsmark, they printed and printed and printed, but they were wallpapering their house and the wheelbarrows, because you can't just print your way out of it if it's not backed by anything. And the key is you must back your currency by gold. Otherwise, it's worthless. But nobody realizes that game, except for us. Here's a quick Egon one.
Is it wise to exit the financial system as much as one can?
It's depending on the individual. People can't exit totally. But what I think is that everybody must have insurance to some extent that is outside the financial system. For some people, that might mean 25, 50, or even 100% of the assets. For some, it might only mean 5 or 10%. But I think it is extremely important to have this insurance totally outside any counterparty risk by holding it, as I said, in physical gold and possibly a bit of silver, and storing it in a place where only you have direct control over it.
One of the most overpriced things.
You tell him, Egon. That's the same thing we talk. This is a good one. It's called Modern Slavery, but I don't have time for it now, and it's been too long, so we'll talk about it tomorrow. The problem is college football. There's so many games, and especially early in the year, there's so much we talk about that we just don't know, right? Arch Manning, don't know. He hasn't shown anything. He's played 2 years. He hasn't shown anything. All of a sudden, he's going to show. The new Ohio State quarterback couldn't beat out Melrose. What are you expecting? So we look at a lot of the teams and try to explain it. And there's so many now. I mean, there's 130 teams that we talk. But if you notice, I talk about all of them because we might be locking the Sun Belt or the MAC or Conference USA. We locked Texas State last year, and it won. Each conference has the A and Z. You want to bet mostly in the conference. So the Sun Belt, you want to bet Sun Belt, and you want to bet Southern Miss in conference. You got to be careful against Old Mississippi State, but that's what you're looking at. You've got to play in the first game. People are getting to know each other. The lines are not meshed. Practice doesn't do shit. You got to get together. And so that's what we're looking at. Just like I looked at that, Iowa State, Kansas State, exactly what I thought. But I don't see a whole lot of Iowa State, Kansas State, where the teams are even, take the dog. And that's what we were talking about yesterday. There's really not a lot of those, or that we know. You got Utah, UCLA. How good's the dodgeball player going to be at UCLA? We saw him at Tennessee. It's a different offense. We'll see. We know what Utah is going to give us. And, Nevada, who knows? Old D in Indiana. I mean, there's a lot of the changes, and now they got Mendoza. And that's what you didn't have before. It would be the quarterback would graduate, and then the second teamer would move up to the first team, and he knew the system. And you're bringing these guys in, and you don't know if they know the system. And that's the real problem. All these guys running from team to team like a bunch of idiots. They don't know what system they're going to. They just want to get away because, I'm not the starter quarterback. I'm the second stringer, like the kid from Alabama. He couldn't beat out whoever the Alabama quarterback is, so he cried and went to Ohio State. Now he's starting, but obviously he's not very good, or he would have beat out the guy at Alabama. You got DeBoer, a great coach. So he's probably more of an option quarterback, I would guess. And DeBoer doesn't like that. He wants people like Penix who can go back and throw dimes all over the place. So we've got to see the new Florida State. They're probably pissed off because they were undefeated 2 years ago, and last year they were a Z team. I've never seen anybody go from undefeated to a Z team. Oh yeah, they took Uglia Buglia, which didn't help them. Anyway, that's it. I wanted to show you Burkina Faso and the 42 planes, and that should shut up the U.S. I think there's a lot of oil in Burkina Faso too. A lot of oil. Trump forces Feds reverse, allies walk. Nobody wants to buy his debt. Let's take a look at gold as we leave. Well, gold jumped, pucked around at 10 o'clock as it always does. And then it's off and running 33.84. Got up to 33.87, it looks like. It's going to be good to test this 34 and finally get over it. Silver 38.54. There's a lot of resistance at 39. Why? Because it's paper. It's options. It's so stupid. This is like inside a Madoff, right? It's all bullshit. This is paper option. This is not physical gold. So when we talk physical gold and we talk that the price is here and the COMEX is 38.54 for silver, and people will pay 100 for it or 500 for it, because you have to get out of the dollar, and that's the key. You have to get out of the dollar. And when they talk about 2 or 3% inflation, they're full of shit. It's thousands of percent, because you got to go back to 71, not year over year. Then I was watching this video, and then I will end, and the guy's talking what's really happening to gold. Why isn't the gold price higher? He had no idea. Yet he came across, that's my video, why the gold price isn't 5,000 or 10,000. And then he explained it. He's clueless. He had no idea. His explanation was, well, the demand isn't there and the wars and that. No, it's because COMEX price fixes it, you idiot. He had no idea. Anyway, so that's where we're at. I'm going to get my oil changed. I got to leave in about, at 1:20 in about 20 minutes. I'm going to quickly grab something to eat, and then I will be back tomorrow. We will look at college again. We'll just go through the lines. It's Thursday, Friday, Saturday. There's a lot on Thursday. It's just a different feel this year. There's always that, here's 3 locks to open. And I think I've got 2 locks that I really like. One there, maybe one there, strong play there. That one, I got about 7 or 8 plays, I think. So that's what I'm leaning on, and it'll be more the cream, not the crowd. Will I bet Temple over UMass? Maybe, maybe. That one I'm kind of, do I really want to? But last week I had the Iowa State, and I didn't bet the Kansas, but I liked the Kansas, and they looked great. And then Western Kentucky I liked, and I didn't play, and they look good. Again, you got to be patient. You can't play every poker hand. People are so impressed with me at the poker table where they go, I wish I could play as, what's the word? Patient as me. They wish they were as patient, because they're there. They want to play. They want the action. They want to play every hand, but that's not what the game is. The game is playing when you have cards, and not playing is part of the game also when you don't. And it's the same thing I bring to football. Playing games is one thing. Not playing other games is also very critical. Not playing the Mississippi State Southern Miss is just as critical as playing the Georgia Marshall game, right? So it's holding back on that. And that's what I try to do, is avoid the losers or the risk. Maybe there's more risk in it. Anyway, have a good day. www.teaserking.com. If you're buying, feel free, purchase pick tab, and then you'll pay with PayPal, or I had some people pay with Venmo off the site. So you just give me a Venmo with my email that you'll see on my homepage, and that's fine. And then just tell me what you're buying. All right. So have a good day, everybody. www.teaserking.com is the site. All right. Take care. Have a nice day.